Yeah, we're like looking down on you. Yeah.
I started my solo track. BTW.
Yeah, start yours up. BTW. What does BTW stand for?
By the way.
Oh, Taylor, raise your hand, please.
Oh. Okay. He's using a conversation. I thought you meant you titled the track BTW, and I'm like, what does that even mean?
It just sounds sexual. Some sort of porn genre. BTW.
What color should I go with tonight, boys?
Blue.
Blue.
Oh yes.
In honor of the Death Squad. Is that what they're called?
Well, careful there. Careful there.
What?
We haven't dropped the. No, I'm talking to Kirkland. We haven't dropped the spoilers review or spoiler warning.
Oh yeah, you son of a bitch.
This is his second week in a row, Kirkland.
If you haven't seen the episode, you shouldn't be watching. How's the Xbox, Taylor? You loving it? Blowing vape clouds in there?
I have it too.
I'm not blowing vape clouds into it. Look at that fun EV game.
Taylor was a lot more hype than
He's
you,
blowing
Travis,
something else
so
into
I'm
it.
asking him.
I am super stoked for it. Or to be playing it. Like it's gorgeous. It's amazing. Assassin's Creed is just absolutely fantastic. Downside, like Cold War is a little bit of a letdown. I gotta invest a little bit more time into it tonight to figure it out, because it seems like there's some fucked up things going on there, and it's even shutting off PlayStation 5 remotes too. For some reason, it shuts off PS5 controllers when they try to play it. Like it's just really screwing up the next gen consoles. So that's Call of Duty.
Oh man, when I'm bald, you could definitely see, like, you can't see it there, but I have like a vein that goes like, you can see it a bit more, especially these lights.
Get angry.
I got my other. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, I'm rocking that. I got my other lights. I got my other mood lights too that are going in front of me, so it'll be even more, like that. But I just haven't set them up yet. Next weekend.
And Travis gives me shit for buying expensive lights. Look at this man. He loves his fucking
$20.
Look at this.
Bum.
Look at him. Bum. I'm not a bum if I'm spending this kind of money on lights.
You should be. That's the type of decisions that make you homeless. It's like, I spend $1,300 on these lights that I use.
I can't. I'm not clinically insane. $1,300 on lights.
You're not.
Definitely not.
We're diagnosed.
Yeah. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Mandalorian series review, or season 2 review. I am. That's no moon. That's a Death Star. Travis. No.
Oh, you're just knocking her down a peg, aren't you?
We won. No, not her. I'll get into that. But we got a victory on our hand. But holy crap, is it windy outside for you guys? This tree looks like it's gonna poltergeist me.
Underground.
I can't see anything.
Dark bunker.
I have something to say about your camera angle, Kirkland, after, but we'll continue on. Who's joining me?
I am a member of the Blue Man Group, Kirkland Patzer.
Fuck. That's amazing. I am the Monk Calamari Taylor Field.
I thought you were about to say you're the monk Taylor Field, but
that too.
Two things. One, I like that Kirkland has like an assorted like plants behind him. He has like all these pots and everything. And two, you had said before you changed the camera angle because we were looking down on you. Now we're looking up on you. Like Taylor said, it is kind of strange that you have it so much, like it can't go any lower than your chin. Oh, he's still like,
I don't know what you want me to do. The stand doesn't adjust.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Height. You don't get hot about it. It was just,
he's not
I'll
look down at you.
He's gonna sit down. Like, now you're just looking at the view. This looks like some POV porn now. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we said, we are reviewing every episode of The Mandalorian season 2 for the next few weeks. This is episode 3. We're going to get into spoilers. Just some quick plugs. Taylor, where can they find us and what is happening on Facebook right now?
Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you can find us with your internet connection in the search bar. Geekverse.ca is our home base. Facebook, Geekverse, and Twitter, GeekverseCast. But if you tune into our Facebook, you're going to find the legendary fan base polls popping off right now. Legendary. Yeah, we have the video games popping off right now. And I believe the round just changed because we're live right now. So the round would have just changed like 22 minutes ago. So Mordecai from Borderlands 2 did not make it. Dominic Santiago from Gears of War did make it, however. And right now we have, I believe it's Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII versus Lilith the Siren from Borderlands. So Hot matchup. Should be good.
Matchup.
Man, who went down from Borderlands?
Mordecai.
Mordecai.
Oh, it's
Rest
just
in
kind of
peace.
it's kind of like Jessica who went down this past weekend in a match, not any sexual innuendo before I continue
Oh
on.
God.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, yes, this past week when we were promoting it, we had
You
Lost
know, you hate to see that happen. It's really unfortunate. You talk trash and then you get cut from the team.
the FBI agent.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cut the connection.
Yeah. I'm assuming he's going to talk about the match
so-
or oh, there he's back. You cut out everything. We didn't hear a single thing.
fuck. Where did I cut up? What did I cut up?
Right after you said not in a sexual way.
Okay. Yeah. And Nathan's in the chat. He says, "It's up to ladies." You know what, Nathan? If you would have showed up to the charity stream to help SES, maybe you would have won. But
No, you still would have
here we
lost.
you still would have lost. We would have had no chance. But as I was saying, the 24-hour stream just going down because she lost her match to me. Most dominating performance in a Geek vs. Gauntlet title match. I'm just going to claim it right now. 3-0, destroyed her in every game. Not a single chance. I'm very excited to see who my next challenger is. But Jessica, this feud's over. You can go walk back to loser Challengerville, and I'll see you next fall. But most importantly, we raised tons of money. Last year, our goal was $1,500, and we were $234 away. This year, we made up for that. We raised $2,225.76. Look at that. So this was our most watched stream, our most anticipated, our most everybody, everyone that watched, shared, donated, spread the word. Thank you very much. A thank you video is coming. The full video, we don't know if we're gonna get the stream because it's longer than 12 hours. It's a whole deal. But I'm gonna do a video thanking everyone that participated and donated. We just had so many people, and yeah, it was crazy because we said if we hit 1,500, our goal next year would be 2,000, and we hit that now. So it's kind of crazy. So what are we gonna do next year? I don't know. We got a whole year, but I just want to thank everybody that participated, whether it was in the events, whether it was watching. Obviously, you guys who stayed the whole time. Taylor was a huge MVP. Didn't even fall asleep once. That's I think that's a first time record for
it's because I'm working. I'm tech service. I gotta, Dawn obviously was off the clock there in the wee hours, so I had to make sure everything was going good.
Oh yeah, our internet shut down. It was crazy. But then yes, lads, we defeat SCS. We would defeat them the final question on a Star Wars question. But Kirkland, like I said, hopefully we're gonna get that video. But if not, Kirkland had this amazing poll of Batman 66, and that started off right. So it was a good.
Got the momentum going.
Mm-hmm. Do you think, because they're already talking about a rematch, so do you think they deserve a rematch? Look at how those clowns in DC. We're supposed to be the DC minors. You guys aren't Snyder fans. We're the DC fanboys. We got DC Alliance. We cream them in DC. I know Scott, who's one of their favorite podcaster. He must have been embarrassed for him. I said, "Oh, these are my boys," and these new guys coming in. But big shout out to Scott, Tyler, and Brett for hosting. But yeah, do they even deserve a rematch? I don't know. We might have to put some on the line next time if that happens.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at this point, we have nothing much to. I mean, we didn't have anything to lose going into it, right? So.
Yeah, and now we got nothing to prove, really.
Exactly.
We didn't have to prove already, but we did. So what about you, Taylor?
I just want to say, I think it's actually quite funny how, yes, you have all these DC fans and all that stuff talking themselves up, and then they go into a trivia match against these people. Like me and Kirkland kept announcing ourselves that we've never heard of this movie or know what we're doing, and yet we still win. We drop these one random answers in there, like who was the original Tim Burton Superman? What was the first Batman? Batman 60. Like we just top the talk and walk the walk.
Oh yeah, I know a few of them are listening to this now on the podcast replay and they're getting fired up. So tweet away, boys and girls, whatever. But we were successful, and you know what? I hope as successful as our stream next year. But is this season 2 of Mandalorian? I hope continues to be successful. Kirkland, I'm going to start with you because you're fresh off the press. You just finished this episode, supposedly. Just your non-spoiler thoughts, then we'll get into spoilers.
Yeah, I really like this episode. I think it's a slight degree down from last week's, just because last week was really exciting. I really liked all the thriller type stuff in that episode, not like the Michael Jackson video, but just like the genre of movie is kind of like an Alien. I think Travis mentioned that on our review, and
I did.
Yeah, so I absolutely love that episode. But going into this one, I was very impressed just visually how good it is. The CGI in the show, it just seems to be getting better and better from season 1. I didn't have any issues with any CGI stuff in this episode, and I just thought it looked all great. I have definitely some questions. I don't want to go into spoilers.
I got some.
Many
I
things.
got some answers for you, Kirkland.
You don't know
But,
his answer. You don't know questions. What? If
Oh yeah, I know. I know his questions.
But yeah, overall, I thought
I'll say.
visually it was amazing. The score again, I feel like it's just at like a par now for the show. It's just always amazing. Maybe I'm wasting my breath mentioning it every single review, but I feel like I have to because it's just that good. And yeah, it was a great episode.
No, I think the score is worth noting every time because I think it's always consistently good, but he is still doing new tracks and there's new vibes to new themes. And
Yeah.
I think even this week there was some new stuff to it. And I always say this, but whenever we get the next Star Wars movie, Louis, he needs to be doing the score. I don't
he's
care
so
what people
good.
say. Like it to me is just every week it like obviously you got the classic stuff, like I'm saying classic because it's only been a year, but just like the themes we kind of already know and love from Mando, like when that theme kicks in. But whether it's like the creepy stuff from last week, this week had some really good like high octane action sort of score. So like Ludwig just like he kills it every time. But because I'm rambling, I'll go. Yeah, I said last week was my favorite episode, and I guess I can say again that this is my favorite episode. It's been top. Oh, actually, let me take that back. Maybe last week was still my favorite, but I think this is the best episode of Mandalorian. I think you had everything in the show that you'd want from it. You kind of have the adventure Mandalorian RPG thing. You have lore with tons of different Star Wars Easter eggs, but their Easter eggs are stuff that to me are essential to the story. They're not just like, look at this Anakin pod racer, which is cool, but like there's stuff that I think actually matters. You actually had, which is a rarity for the show. This is why I always say the show's overrated, or why I don't think it should have been nominated for best drama. It had character development and story development all in one episode. Who would have thought the Mandalorian would achieve such heights one day? It's crazy. So you learn some new things about the Mandalorian. You see him evolve, and all the adventure this is my favorite type of adventure. It is almost like a side adventure, but not really because it's getting us to our main quest. It's setting things forward. Action was great. Score was great. Even the comedic beats were great. I agree. There was no CG that looked bad. And yeah, Bryce Dallas Howard did a phenomenal job. And I say this all the time, but the top 3 episodes of Mandalorian have all been directed by women. So I would expect here in the near future, we should get one of them, if not someone else directing, a female directing Star Wars, because they've just had this great touch. So Taylor, what do you feel about this episode?
Right off the hop, this episode is my favorite of both seasons so far. It's just absolutely so good. I felt like, okay, what I'm seeing is literally like the other episodes that we've gotten of Mandalorian. They're great in their own right for live action.
You
but
always do this. You love the episodes, but then when you love something more, you got to bring it down. You know, like
no, I'm not bringing
I
it
love
down.
Suicide Squad, but not like in a way where I love movies.
No,
I
I'm not bringing this down at all. What I'm saying is, all the other episodes are great in their own right for live action takes on Star Wars, but this is, to me, it felt like they took an episode of Rebels and Clone Wars and just dished that out in live action, and it blew my mind. It just tackled so many things that I was hoping would happen, and I was hoping that we would get to see, but at the same time, I wasn't expecting just to see it right in front of me. Like, it's just like at the same time, like, I love butter chicken and it tastes so good, but every time I put it in my mouth and I taste it, it's just like absolutely incredible. And I just like, I come to terms with it. It's grounding. So
it's grounding.
What was that? Run that again. Run that play again.
So every time I think, like I know I want better chicken. I want better chicken. So I go and I get better chicken. I taste it. It's like, oh, it's just so good. Like, I can't believe like I'm coming to terms with how good this butter chicken is. And I was like this episode of Mandalorian. Like, I knew it was coming. I knew it was going to be good. It was going to taste good. And then when I finally like had it and it was there, I was like, oh my God, like that was better than I could expect. I wasn't able to expect. It was just being so great. And that was this episode. And again, the score too. Like, this isn't much of a spoiler because we see it in the trailers when Mando was on that boat device or whatever. Just right when that scene cut to that moment when he's on that boat, that score just kicks in. It's that classic Mando theme, but it has like a redone aesthetic to it. It just was so good. It just gets you pumping, gets the blood boiling, just makes you feel like you can just conquer the galaxy. Just so, so good.
There you go. It's just as good as butter chicken that Taylor's saying. So
turn the game down.
Oh my God. We have been doing this for 5.5 years. 5 years we've been podcasting. We hope to grow this business. Fans have supported us. I silently sent Taylor a message. Hey, just turn your gain down a tad. Turn my gain down? Turn it down. Like, I'm trying to do it in a professional way so the listeners are not taken out. So it's like I'm listening to a podcast. You're gonna get us another like 3 2-star review on Podbean, take our average down. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get into spoilers. Before that, just want to say, like, to promote all the links, the biggest thing as well is go over to our Patreon. In December, we're going to make some announcements, but we're going to have a lot more exclusive stuff going to Patreon that will just be exclusive, not go in the main feed. So, and the first one is this weekend. I'm very excited. I'm not sure when we'll review the new one, but so on November 17th, there's the Star Wars Lego Christmas special coming to Disney Plus. So we're going to watch that. It's going to be lots of fun. But we on Honor and Patreon are going to be doing a commentary track for the one and only until next week, the one and only Star Wars special, Star Wars Christmas special. Taylor, yeah, I know you said you've not seen it. Kirkland, have you seen this before?
Is this the like Ewok one?
No, this is the Chewbacca. There might be Ewoks, but it's about getting Chewbacca home for Life Day.
For Life Day.
Yeah, and all, the original cast is in it. It was a made-for-TV special. Yep.
Yeah, no, I have not seen this.
Perfect.
Whatsoever.
Taylor?
I haven't seen it. It's canon though, right?
Well, not according to George. He wanted to get rid of it, but that's where Boba Fett's first appearance was. So,
wow.
Whoa. Boba Fett's first appearance was in the Christmas special before Empire Strikes Back?
yes. Look it
good
up.
to know.
Get ready. Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do on Patreon, the Phase 2 tier. That's gonna be up there exclusive. Like I said, lots of fun things coming. Another fun thing is an ad. This helps support the channel. This helps grow. So that helps build it. That helps, maybe one day replace Taylor with a more professional podcaster. So if you want that to happen, support us on Patreon. And on Patreon, if you don't like these ads, go over there, get the feed for ad free. You get all of them early, get them ad free. But if not, here you are. And then we're gonna go back to the episode. And we're back. So we're starting with spoilers. 3, 2, 1. Where do we want to start? I know you're gonna be like the beginning, but like I know I want to start with Kirkland's questions because I feel like there's some people out there that may have similar questions to him, and I think he's a good guinea pig because you've not seen the Rebels. You've not seen Rebels or Clone Wars, correct? Other than maybe a few episodes here and
I've
there.
seen a couple Jar Jar episodes of Clone Wars, and that was enough for me. So
what were your questions concerning this episode?
So this name, Bo-Katan, as soon as I heard it, I recognized it somewhere. I don't know if it was like you or Taylor or someone had mentioned this at some point, or I'd actually seen it in Clone Wars, or like, has it shown up in the movies at all? No, it's just a Clone Wars thing, right? Okay.
Clone Wars
and
Rebels.
She's a user of the Darksaber, Nespa.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
Nespa.
And then what's their crew called? X-Force?
The Mandalorians.
Clan Kreese.
And Kreese, but they're not like the Death Stalkers, whatever they're
No,
called.
she used to be a lieutenant in Death Watch. So
Death Watch.
Death Watch now, this is obviously where it gets interesting. Death Watch, and this is the significance too. Death Watch is the group of Mandalorians that saved Pedro Pascal when he was a kid. They were basically like, you could say extremists and terrorists that believed in the old Mandalorian ways when Mandalore became a pacifistic culture.
So the old Mandalorian ways is that like what our boy Pedro is.
That's what he's
Din.
following. Yeah, Din Djarin. Yeah. So basically, you have the Mandalorians that were like, if you remember, like Old Republic style, they were crazy badass warriors and all that jazz. And then when it got to be like time of like the Old Republics, like movies, all that jazz again, like they changed over to being like pacifistic and stuff like that. So renouncing their old ways and being more peaceful and unbiased and all that. And then they had this splinter cell that broke off the terrorist group called Death Watch that was like, we got to go back to the way things were. We're proud warriors. We should be that and all that jazz. And Bo-Katan was a lieutenant for them. And then when Maul took over Death Watch, it segregated them, and so it literally broke Mandalore apart, all that jazz. And then Bo-Katan kind of teamed up with other Mandalorian groups and then worked to try to like build a better Mandalore. And then unfortunately the Empire happened and that really set them back a little bit. And
so really simple story, Kirkland.
Really simple
really
story.
easy to follow.
Yeah, the Darksabers changed hands a lot, but then you have obviously the Watch, which is some I've never heard of them before, and I like that. I like that they're creating new Mandalorian lore and backstory as now we're finding out in this show. And so you have the Watch, which is, again, I'm assuming some Splinter Cell group of Death Watch that's like die-hard religious zealots of their creed or something like that, which is so cool. Anyways, continue.
And then so is Bo-Katan, is she like, is there some sort of like royal bloodline in the Mandalores? Like, is she from that line or something?
There's clans that are descendants of like more like famous and profound Mandalorians, you could say. Hers is definitely a popular one because she was the sister to the
Duchess.
I can't remember her, yeah, the Duchess. That was her title. Yeah, Duchess.
Obi-Wan's girlfriend. If you didn't know this, Kirkland, spoilers for Clone Wars, but if you didn't watch now by now, people don't complain. You're listening to this show. The Duchess, Obi-Wan would have left the Jedi Order for her if she said yes. So they're very close and hot and heavy. So his sister Maul kills that woman, her sister, Obi-Wan's love, and that created like this really like bad chain of events that happened. So
and then,
she's this. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, like, is the Darksaber like a symbol of like the hierarchy or something, or is it just like the leader of the Mandalorians?
The Darksaber was used by like thousands of years ago by a Force-sensitive Mandalorian, and he created that as his lightsaber. So that eventually was taken back by the Mandalorians and used as like their right to rule Mandalore. If you have this, then you can rally all the Mandalorian clans together and you can rule, which is why it's so important for Bo-Katan, because at the end of Rebels, we see Bo-Katan obtain it. She was given it to her by Sabine, another Mandalorian from Star Wars Rebels, and it's interesting because now obviously she lost it somehow. We have that 5-year period.
Or it was taken from her.
Taken from her. Yeah. We have 5 years where the purge would have happened on Mandalore and she would have lost the Darksaber.
So long con prediction here is our boy Din. Is it Din, right? Am I saying it right?
Din Djarin.
It's Din?
Din Djarin.
I thought it was like DJINN or something like that.
Isn't it DIN?
DINDJARRIN.
I don't need the last name. Just brief call. So Din, are we long conning thinking that there's a chance he ends up with this Darksaber?
No, I don't think so.
So the only reason I say that is because you do this whole story about like the 1,000-year ago, this Force sensitive Mandalorian, and I've heard this theory thrown to other people by other people, and I'm not saying it's crazy that I think there is a chance this guy Din could eventually be Force sensitive. You look at his tie with Baby Yoda, just his kind of venture he's gone on. He kind of has that, like, the Force isn't built on luck, but he kind of has that sort of thing where things just happen for him sometimes, kind of like Finn with in Rise of Skywalker.
That's
like,
just Star Wars. That's how it works.
No, I know, but but no, what I'm saying, Finn was shown to have Force, and he's like, I think over here. Mandalorian at times has those qualities. I'm not saying that I'm going to predict that, but I'm saying it's in the ballpark of possibilities that of possibly I could see Bo-Katan dying and him getting this light or this Darksaber and him, because what I liked most about this episode was this aspect of, you got to think about this guy. So this guy's parents got executed. These people save him, take him in as a foundling, and he's grown up his whole life one way, right? And now he's meeting people that look like him, talk like him, act like him, but have not completely different, but very different ideologies and views. And that's why I liked it, because I'm not a religious person, but the idea of religion like fascinates me. And that's the way it is even for some people. If you look at those people that like get kidnapped and brought into cults and they live a whole certain way their whole life, and then once they get out they see like, oh, maybe I was living the wrong way, I showed the wrong way, and then they learn more and more and go, yeah, like you were living a very bad situation. Obviously the Mandalorian, you can debate what's better, because theirs is like, we're harsher so we can get things done, where Mandalorian, her, like I said, I don't know the names, but her Bo-Katan is more the, let's resolve this, let's try to use action last, even though in this episode they just kill people left, right, and center. Like, it is like, we're more peaceful, but like they're destroying everybody. I know they're stormtroopers, but that's what I liked, is I love seeing him, even for mere moments, like question that there is a different side of his entire culture. And I really like that. And that's why I think, though, there's a chance that this is, at least what I will predict is, this is going to lead to Pedro Pascal taking that helmet off a lot more in the future and accepting their culture. That's what I will for sure predict. Him taking over the Darksaber, maybe not, but that one I think this is going to lead to us seeing a lot more Pedro in the future.
I mean, I'm all down for that because I love,
of course,
love the look of Pedro. Yeah, I'm curious what'll happen with like him and the relationship with those other Mandalorians, because I don't know if I have this weird little force twitch telling me this, but I feel like something will happen with Bo-Katan or like her little crew there, where like maybe it goes against the way that Pedro would want to do something, and maybe there'll be some sort of clash there that maybe, I don't know, leads to him just not trusting them as much or something along those lines. I just had a weird inkling like that. I don't know if it'll happen or not. I'm not going to put my stamp of guarantee on there, but
well, we already saw like they made that deal and then she went against the deal. And that's what I loved. And this is, it was such a nice little touch when she's like, you're changing the deal. And she goes, this is the way. But she says it in like a condescending, like,
yeah,
oh, you got to do it because you're all about honor. So they're like using that against them. So I could easily see something fracturing them in the future. I think eventually they will join forces, but I could see same thing, her doing something shady, something along the lines of him being like, even if it puts, I don't know if it put him at risk, but even Baby Yoda or something like that for them trying to get a mission. But I do think we will see these characters again in this season, just because if she's after Moff Gideon, and I feel like we're going to see Moff Gideon again, I feel like we have to see them again, even in one episode.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I am curious if like their clash has something to do with Baby Yoda. Like maybe they're willing to sacrifice Baby Yoda to get their end goal, and he's just can't do that. You know, it's his little homie. So
I don't know if Bo-Katan would necessarily go that route, because
so,
you never know, but you learn that she's very much like grateful to the Jedi, and she knows where Ahsoka Tano is. I think that speaks volumes. Ahsoka wouldn't just let anyone willy-nilly know where she is. So
willy-nilly. But yeah, I love that whole dynamic. Like obviously I love them showing up. I think, and it's so good too, because when I've seen her in animated shows, I've always wondered that armor, like sometimes it's like, oh, is that too loud? Is it too out there? But they adapted it great in live action. It looked great, really sleek. Like anytime she'd walk up, it looked great. They gave her some good one-liners of when they Mon Calamari, who are the squid face people, the Davy Jones people?
The Quarren.
When they were like circling Mando, they're like, you killed my brother. And she just lands like, no, I killed your brother. And then she just takes out her guns and kills everyone. While like, and this is not to be a shot. This is not because of current things cartoon actresses said, but it's just like Katie Sackhoff, who's been around a long time, Battlestar Galactica. She voiced, I'm sure you maybe said this, but she actually voiced her in the show as well. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of cool. But she's just like a higher level actress than a lot of certain people. Like even so, I love Sasha Banks. They gave her like 2 lines because they know like, okay, this is her first role. We gotta hide her because we don't know how she is. And the good thing is, I hope to see more. Like if they were to like, it all depends. But if they were to say, okay, you got the Cara Dune show or the Bo-Katan and her friend show, I'm taking this Bo-Katan show just even once because it was. I would love to see their adventures, whether it be, God forbid, a prequel, but like on their way to meet Mandalorian and whatnot. I like their whole little setup. Even Sasha Banks, who was not in it as much as I would like, they gave her some little moments of, you know, she's the one that saved Baby Yoda in like a heart-stopping scene. That I could not believe that scene when they're like, get a little closer, look, and he just span around and hit Baby Yoda. That's when I knew this episode was going to be great, because it was when because to me, The Mandalorian, and people may disagree, but I feel like the show at times can't be that shocking because it kind of has a formula. So when it started just like that, it's kind of like last week with the cold open when they got Baby Yoda, but you kind of knew like, oh, it's the first 5 minutes, they're going to get Baby Yoda and we'll go on our adventure. But this was literally, they did get that, but it led to so much stuff with the Mandalorian showing up. But he just turned, smacked Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda's little thing came up and the fish swallowed him. Oh man, that was I was worried there, but I loved everything they did with Bo-Katan. I think even the times where she had the helmet off and was acting, she was great. So I do hope we see her again. And I think I agree with Taylor that I don't know if there will be any turning against them, but there's definitely going to be some conflict because they have different morals. But I think that's going to just slowly make Din like turn to them. That's what I think. I think maybe something will happen with his like clan that will be like, we don't have to do it this way. Even the helmet, you know, he has to go back to that lake, show him his face.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just in comparison with like the Bo-Katan crew and the Cara Dune show, I definitely prefer the Bo-Katan crew. Their look was just so cool. I love their suits. Look so dope. Um, obviously that's where I got my nickname, the Blue Man Crew.
Mhm.
But yeah, they just looked awesome. There's like I liked how. So I guess their suits would have been taken from the Clone Wars. Like, did they do a good job at recreating it?
That was like Bo-Katan's armor adaptation from the Clone Wars to live action. Like it's just amazing. It
Yeah.
looks so goddamn good.
Yeah, it looked really, really good live action. So I was really impressed there. And I mean, obviously, when you just have like a little bit of an ensemble, you have different personalities and different characters. So they would just be naturally more interesting than just one character.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm excited to see more of them. Hopefully, it's not like just in the finale, like everyone comes together to take on Moff Gideon or something. But I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I on the Katie Sackhoff train, like she just, it was so good, so good. Like it was, well, it would have been like we watched it like super late last night, Travis. But like as soon as that scene clicked on, and like again, that scene totally shocked me. I wasn't expecting or knowing what was going to come out of this. But like when Baby Yoda got knocked down there, and then Mando was down there, it's like this is just such a horrible situation.
Good on those
And then,
guys. They fucking trapped him good. Like
they did.
That was so
people-
sketchy, though. It's just like, hey, your kid want to see something?
Yeah, well, again, man, I'm sorry, but again, Mandalorian being an idiot. Yeah, go up, see this big fish. Like, no, he's good. Like, I know one point he's like, you're close enough, but it's just like, dude, you don't know these people. But he's always open. He's always just
the
have a good
thing
time.
I've learned, and like I really wanted to be like
What have you
on
learned?
the devil's advocate when it comes to the Corrin people, but like the Corrin people in general, like they are assholes. I'm sorry, but like their species, they're just dicks, and they're just so
We're
out to
not
get
saying
you.
they're not dicks. We're just
No,
saying,
I'm just saying like
not
oh,
that smart.
no, I
apparently.
know. I'm just saying in general, like the Corrin are just they're straight up dicks. Like there was only like one or two, maybe like okay ones in the Clone Wars that you can see, but the rest of them are all just assholes. They share a planet with the Mon Calamarians, but the Mon Calamarians are definitely like the way better off, people. And again, that was represented well in this episode. I find I like
not
their
if you want-
representation.
Not if you want your ship fixed.
Yeah, well, at least he tried. I mean, he definitely did try.
I give you
for
1,000 credits. What did you do? And he just gives him the like receipt to scan, and that's and he just goes off about his day. I thought there was gonna be something else, like he pimped it out or did something.
Yeah.
No, he literally just like didn't really
That's some
fix it
fish
out.
net in there.
He's like, I
Fish
can
nets
fuel it.
inside. Yeah, that was
I
so
can
good.
fuel it up if it can fuel up. It's just like,
But yeah, back to Katie Sackhoff. That was just when Mando was underneath like the grate, and then you just see her like land. At just that moment it clicks when you see that helmet design. It's like, oh my god, there she is. Like this is so exciting. And it was like for any like I love the Clone Wars. Oh my god. Any day of the week you want to call me over to watch Clone Wars, I'll be there. So it was just so
even with
awesome.
Assassin's Creed right now, someone says come watch Clone Wars, you're gonna ditch
Come watch Clone Wars? Yeah. I'll be there to watch some Clone
You're
Wars.
an
Well,
Assassin's Creed
I'll pick
fan.
out some of the best episodes to watch with you to watch.
Jar
Clone
Jar.
Wars.
Talk to me. Talk to me. Don't talk. Yeah,
I'll watch
let's go-
some Dr. Vindy episodes.
Oh, Dr. Vindy's the worst. So one thing I got, it's not a complaint and anything like that. It's just a first world subtitles problem. I was disappointed because when you first see them, they're kind of like moving around quickly, so you don't know who it is. I knew it was going to be Bo-Katan. Even the episode's called The Harris, like obviously like alluding to her. But when they're fighting, the subtitles was like, Bo-Katan, and then it was like the dialogue. I was like,
I know,
oh,
I saw it too.
before all the like the real reveal and everything. Again,
But you
it's
guys
nothing that
watch with
big.
subtitles. Jesus.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
do.
the best way you have to, especially when you
Oh.
watch like a Christopher Nolan movie. You can't, when Bane gets up there, you got to know what he's talking about. But no, I enjoyed the reveal. I liked the little crew. The guy, like, I feel like it could have just been her and Sasha, because like even with Sasha's not. So here's the thing. It felt like he was a professional wrestler too, because it felt like they were trying to hide him. Because that's what like look at The Rock and Scorpion King. He's always joked about, but he had one line. Haku Machente. It's because this is his first gig. We don't know how he can do. We like his look. That was the same with Sasha, right? She can do action. She has a really like distinct look. She's a beautiful looking lady. And I like they gave her one or two lines. They were fine. Nothing that really stood out, but they gave her that kind of like fun little beat with like her eating like the space worm or whatever. And she just had that like Sasha Banks stare. So like I've always said this. I think Sasha, if she continues this, will be great because she reminds me of a female rock where she's really good at her promos and her character work. So that's where I could see that transition. But the guy was like, he didn't even get a moment, like
He
even
was like
Sasha,
that guy that would just be like, yeah, like whatever like the main guy would say, and then he would just.
But
throw
he
in,
wouldn't.
yeah.
He'd just say with his eyes. They just go to me and be like, it's just like, is he supposed to be a mute? I don't know. Like Sasha, at least she had, even if you didn't know Sasha Banks and you were looking, she had that comedic moment with that because Baby Yoda was hungry. So she's eating that thing. She had a few lines and she was the one that saved Baby Yoda. She did the big dive, took out the monster, came out with Baby Yoda and said, here you go, little kid. They gave her like a few moments. He felt like, oh, this is the Mandalorian that's going to die in this episode, but he didn't. So it's like, I don't actually know if he got a scene cut or a moment cut. Like, I'm not saying he had to be a big character. It just felt like he was just there. Like we did. And it's not even like Taylor, he wasn't even because this was confirmed now. And we kind of thought this going in. But so Sasha Banks is not Sabine Wren. Everyone thought she was going to Sabine Wren because Sabine Wren has colorful hair. So people thought, the natural kind of juxtaposition is Sasha's hair has dyed. There we go. Wasn't the case. These are two new characters, correct?
Yeah.
So to me, this felt like if you had had Bo-Katan and she's always had like a buddy with her, like a little sidekick, then you'd be like, oh, that's why they cast this guy because they need the sidekick role. But I don't think they needed him. I think they could have just had her and Sasha and that was it. Like, I'm glad this guy got some work and got paid, but like, I just don't know why he didn't get a cool moment. It was odd to me.
I don't know. I think it makes sense. Like for what they were doing.
What does he have on Dave
story-wise?
Filoni?
Well, yeah. For what they were doing story-wise, obviously they're taking out an Imperial cruiser, so you can't just go in with 2 Mandalorians and hope to recruit a third one. So luckily, just throw in another one. If we never see him again, that's fine. I mean, not every character in Star Wars needs to have a huge
you can do whatever you want with story writing as long as the typewriter.
Never saw him again.
Would you?
Not in the next episode.
I could live with that. But Travis, I feel like you're someone who doesn't want them to just do that over the top fan service. Like if they did like Sasha Banks and they threw in Sabine Wren, would you feel like that's too much?
Sasha Banks is not fan service. Sasha Banks is fan service for WWE wrestling fans.
No. I mean, let's say they scrap the guy and you have Sasha Banks, Bo-Katan, and then they throw another actress as Sabine Wren. Wouldn't you say that's too much?
No, I'm just saying.
I don't know any other sidekicks.
You're so obsessed with making sure it's 3. I'm just saying the magic of script writing. Make them just 2 badass women. You add Mando, you have 3. There we go. Like I don't think you needed that guy. Like you say, like, oh, no Mandalorians can take over a starship with 2 Mandos. Like, yeah, you can. As long as you make them, they can, and then they had Mando to help them out. So I just it's fine. It's just as like, I just wonder why that character was there. I'm just looking, and same thing, like you could say that same thing with Sasha, right? Like, why is she there? But like, okay, they have some buddies. And like I said, they gave her some moments. I just want them to just give him something cool, like some moment where it's like, oh, okay, this guy's a badass, but it's just like, why is he there? Like, is he the driver? Is he the one that all the when they sleep, he's the one up? Like, it's like, I just want to, it's like the Bad Batch. They at least show all their skills, right? They show why each one of the members are there. Taylor, why is this guy here? Bo-Katan's obviously the leader. Sasha Banks' Reeves character looks like she's kind of like the feisty, very quick, like, yes, she's the only person in Star Wars that can swim with Qui-Gon Obi-Wan. But like she looked quick. This guy I don't even think had an action scene. He had the scene where he nodded his head.
He did. He even said some dialogue too when they're all sitting on top of the Razor's crest. But he was the heavy hitter. You see how jacked he was? Was
he jacked?
Oh yeah.
I think I'm bigger than that guy.
He was pretty.
Without the armor.
Without the armor.
Yeah.
I'd have to see how swole he is without the armor.
Take off your clothes. We need to see how swole you are. But yeah, I have nothing else to add on those 3. I don't think. So we saw a frog lady. She got reunited with her husband. The most controversial topic of the Kirkland's off the Twitter.
I need to talk about that actually real quick. So
are you sure you need to hang on?
I need to say something.
Let me set this up because Kirkland is probably the sanest of us all, not of Twitter, but gotta promote the machine. So. Since the Baby Yoda episode last week with him eating the eggs, it has been a big talking point, a very controversial talking point of, is this good comedic humor, or is this maybe pushing it too far as you have this frog lady who has said, I have these babies and these are the last babies I have, and if you eat them, they're like this species is extinct. So people have made the case of like people that, you know, couldn't get pregnant, stuff like that. I've seen both sides. It's been very, before you go, Taylor, it's been very all over the place. I'll just say I'm somewhere in the middle. I understand. One, I thought it was just weird last week when we talked about, I just thought it was a weird thing to do. And I thought it was a weird thing to keep happening. I thought once was fine. Like last week when I say that was my favorite episode, it's not because Baby Yoda was eating these like ladies' children. That's not the thing. It was everything else. So I kind of go of like, it was weird, but I get it. Like Baby Yoda's new, and I even like show this episode that he figures out what life is, right? He saw the eggs just up their food, and then he sees them hatch and he goes, this is what life is. So I feel like they kind of button it, but then the same side, I get people's things of like there's traumatic stuff and everything like that. I do think some people are overblown. I think some people, especially like people that, you know, that's everybody. That's you two here. I'm not trying to take a shot at you two. I'm just saying people that eat meat, and if they're complaining like this Baby Yoda's taking these babies and just eating them, it's like, go look into what you're fucking eating and how much that happens. So I think some people are like on real too high of a horse, and then I think some people are so low of like, oh, if you don't think this is funny, you're a fucking idiot. Like I've seen so much of the gamut this week that I'm very much in the middle. I'm not offended or not offended by it. I thought it was a weird thing to do, but I didn't think they needed to do it over and over. So I see both sides. I think it's, I think it's maybe not, I'm not gonna say much to do about nothing. I just think it's just it's maybe gone on too long, but it's gonna go on, it's gonna continue to go on because of this episode. I just think there's maybe bigger things we've talked about before, but for some people it's a big issue. So Taylor, what do you want to say before you get yourself in big trouble here?
So first of all, now, there's no reason to think that this was the end of the species. She said the end of my line, not referring to the end of, you know, her civilization or her species. So everyone in these articles, and they're dropping these things like, oh, you know, he's eating the rest of their species. That's it. And then they're all gone. That's not the case. Several times it's mentioned the last of my line in that episode. So I'm just putting that out there.
Still last of her family line. That's
last
pretty
of her
big.
family line. That is very, very big. But just so people know, it's not the last of the species. The people were definitely overreacting a little bit about the species thing. You know, just listen to what the dialogue is a little bit, and you'll hear it. So the other thing, now I get that it's definitely a little grimy and awkward for, you know, the Baby Yoda to be eating eggs. But again, we saw in season 1, he's got a thing for eating frogs, and these are right up his alley. I mean, he was shoving live frogs down his mouth in that first season. I mean, Yoda himself lived in a swamp where there's probably tons of frogs for him to eat, for crying out loud. But in this sense, like, it's definitely a hard thing to kind of digest, because you have you have again, we people can feel guilty and very put off about it, because obviously it's the eggs of a sentient species that's represented in this show. Now,
I think it's not just that, it's because it's used. I think the sticking point is it's used for comedy. I think that's like, I don't think it would
that
be like
too. I mean, I never was laughing at it. I definitely found it like a little gross. The only time I did laugh about it was at the very, very end, when he just popped one at the end, like, and it just was unexpected. Or just the moments that I laughed is when Din Djarin was going full dad mode on him. I got a kick out of those moments, but it wasn't him eating the things necessarily. I think the thing, again, like I was saying, they've given these creatures like a sentient, like emotional kind of aesthetic to them. So that's why there's this difference where I could go and I could eat salmon eggs. You know, people do it all the time. You could go eat like duck and chicken eggs and stuff, and, you know, we're eating eggs.
Here we go.
But again, it's that creativity that they've implemented where you feel the sentience and the consciousness of these characters that creates that difference. Again, it's an interesting representation how, again, like you're saying, how people, like, they can eat meat and stuff like that. But again, it's an eye opener to just kind of showcase that line between, if it has these like human like emotions, like it's not okay, but on a different threshold. And like you look at like our produce and stuff like that, it's looked at in a different light, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it is because that's right. Like, and again, I don't care what you do with me. These guys know I'm not anybody that's been like, I don't drink. You guys should stop drinking at this Geek First part. Like, I don't put people ask me my views, and I'll say this is what my views are, and this is how I feel this way. I'm somebody that has gone off meat. I had been currently eating meat this last month because I was trying to bulk up. Is selfish reason 100%, but I also don't have like thousands of dollars to spend on like, here's the best in bodybuilding. Here's your 1 cup of protein whey that costs $5,000. Here you go. So it's like, it's an easy way for me to bulk up. There's times where I don't like it. There's times where I literally gag, and that's why I switched back to it, because I looked into it. That's why I stopped it. That's why I think there's some people that just jump to because it is a show and they think this is so bad, but you do got to look at some real life stuff too and go like, that stuff happens in real life. If you don't, you mean stuff like that, then you can be like that. But Kirkland, do you have anything to say on this, or would you like to move forward?
I think people are focusing too much on it. I definitely thought it was strange last episode, especially how they first showed him like putting his hand on like on the glass, and you think he's gonna have like some weird like force moment like with these little like fish frog embryo things, but he ended up just chowing down on them. So I would agree that it was a little strange if like it was a comedic tone on it, but at the end of the day, it's Star Wars, it's a show. I don't think people should get too offended over it.
Well said.
I thought Taylor was coming in. Yeah, good job, Kirkland.
Thank you, everyone.
So yeah, so they yeah, that was Kirkland's TED talk. So yeah, and then so she got reunited with her husband. They watched Baby Yoda for a bit. The first time where I felt, you know what, this is justified for him to be leaving Baby Yoda, even though I did laugh when, well, like he's talking to Mandalorian, then we see cut to the shot of like, is it okay if I leave him here for a while? It's just like, again, these people I actually trust for once, because like he's known them for a little bit, the children, and I get this mission because it's literally going to like a Sith like Empire thing. You have these Mandalorian you don't trust, but I just love which is like cut to like I need a place to store.
I was surprised that Mando didn't like warn them to like keep an eye on him so that he wouldn't like eat their little.
He gave Baby Yoda the TED talk, you know. He's like, you know,
no, that's not a TED talk. Do you know what a TED talk is, Taylor? Or
yeah, he gave the TED talk. He's like, you're gonna be in their house.
Just hear me say TED talk and then use it, because Taylor's notorious for hearing one of us use a saying and then he'll use it completely wrong, like raw dog. Remember when you raw dog fish and you learn what that was?
But so, you like, can raw dog fish, so
you can, but you didn't mean it. You didn't mean it in that context. So that's the thing where you're. What is a TED talk? Tell me what a TED talk is.
Like a quick talk.
Oh no.
Yes and no, but like, okay, but he last week would multiple times say, no, don't do this, and then Baby Yoda was like, like his talks don't mean that much.
Well, hopefully it obviously worked this time, because he's like, you know, Baby Yoda, like you gotta keep it together, you gotta be polite in their house, and don't do you know what I mean, don't do that thing.
I was worried the frog people were gonna find him with just one of those eggs going down his gullet.
It was a weird scene where he was like it was weird and cute when he was up against the glass and
it was the same thing as last week. So
it was,
yeah,
but the thing hatched. It was worrying. The thing hatched though, and his mouth just opens up and he smiles. So it's like, oh, what's gonna happen?
I think that was the point, because it was the exact same shot I was showing like last week. But to me, this shows like he's getting the concept of life. It's the same thing as my kids. Like my kids aren't going around like eating human babies or anything like that. But like I can tell you the difference. I can tell you the difference. Well, yeah, the neighbors complain all the time downstairs. And my eggs, no. But like the babies, and like when they start to grow, you can see them be cognizant of more things. If you were to watch Logan and Gwen and talk to them about separate things, Gwen's going to take it in a completely different way and understand things. And that's because she's had like life experience and she's growing. I take that the same way as Baby Yoda, where at first this was just food. It's just a source of produce. But now, even at the end when they're leaving, we don't know what Baby Yoda actually says. It's like, no, we can't keep it. I have enough pets. You would assume that now he's not trying to eat those things. He's infatuated with those things and they're life to him. They're like little babies. So like he wouldn't eat them now because he has that concept of what these things are. And that's why I felt that is the most deepest thing. No, but that's why I felt like that was their kind of bow tie on it. If you were worried, like, okay, sure, 100%. He ate some baby eggs. He killed human life, or he killed frog life. Okay, he took frog life away from these two frogs. We're not going to get into the whole debate of when is a baby, when is an egg a baby.
We've come back to the frog eggs thing. We've gone full.
We're not going to get into the whole like when is it okay to do this. No, we're not going to do that. But I'm just saying, as far as if you look at Baby Yoda, the mini journey he went on was this was food. He realized it's something more, and you can't do that. And that's what I thought was great. That shot of showing the hatching, and to me it was his mouth open because you think, oh, he's going to eat it or wants to eat it, but no, it's like. I think he's astonished of like, oh, look what these things actually were. Like, I can't, I have to look.
That's a good point. Yeah, I feel like maybe if they had like the full cycle of him devouring those bad boy eggs, and then
Devouring. What a word. You gotta use devouring.
and then kind of having the realization, like you just mentioned, like this is more than just a snack. This is like
Yeah.
process of life and everything. And like maybe it could have been a little bit clearer, like the way that you just described. I think you hit the nail right on the head.
Well, I think it's
that's
also
totally what it was
because
trying to do.
the scenes are so split out. Like that happens at the very beginning episode, and then we get a bunch of Mando stuff, which we haven't mentioned. This is the shortest episode. I think it didn't need more, except I felt the ending was just like a tad rush, how he like said bye to them, got his ship, got Baby Yoda, and left. But even then, I think it was a crisp like 33 minutes. I'm interested to see the rest of the season because each episode like has gone down. But I think it was just the editing of that. But the frog people, they're happy. They're hatching their eggs, so their line continues.
Yeah, I like that scene when it looked like they're at like an airport. They're like looking out for each other and they found each other. That was cute. And then there's like a cool little like, I don't know, like the little score that came in when they saw each other. I appreciated that scene.
Yeah,
some amphibian love.
Yeah, I like them for characters again.
Better than Frizzy, that's for sure.
Yeah, better than you were coming around on her last week.
I was, but I was definitely happier that we didn't have her in this episode. So.
What else? Obviously, so let's talk about this thing, Taylor. So the mission's complete. Well, for a few things I want to talk about before I forget. So those Empire guys, obviously, so they're in there, they're controlling the ship. We got a call from Moff Gideon, which I appreciated because I thought, we're gonna go a whole fucking season until we see this guy, aren't we? Like, we're not gonna see him to finale night, but we saw him again. I liked his little speech. Two things. One, the main like leader. I didn't like how tan he was. He was very tan for an Empire leader. Like he just looked like he'd got a tanning bed. It's like, I think they should be on the run. I got to give major shout outs to, I don't know who the actor is, never seen him in my life, but the guy who played the main one to the left, who was like really scared the whole time on the radio.
He looked familiar. Who is he?
He did look familiar.
I literally just said, Taylor, I have no idea who he is, but I just want to shout him out because I just thought he did such a, because sometimes those scenes can be so like cheesy of, General, there's someone in, but he looked like genuinely frightened when they're two Mandalorian, and he like looked up all his facial reactions. So kudos to whoever got him in casting, because obviously just a bit role, but those many times can be super cheesy. But I liked that stuff for the most part. I thought there was maybe one too many stormtroopers on that ship for
you never have not enough stormtroopers.
No, I just mean like
Gideon decked them out.
I guess, but then he told them to just suicide themselves, so like he wasn't that concerned about the ship. But I liked, again, that was a good time too. We didn't just meet Bo-Katan and the Mandalorian randomly. It's because he's looking for them, but they're also looking for the Darksaber, who was connected because Moff Gideon had a thing with Mandalorian. So it's that thing of like all these stories come together. It's not just like, sure, I like the first episode, but it's not just like Timothy Oliphant, there you are, see you, bye, I'll see you real soon, partner, whatever he said to him. This was literally like they were two ships colliding because they had to. So I really liked all of that. But then obviously they complete the mission, they drop their "this is the ways," and he's talking about, we need to find Jedi. And then obviously it's the worst kept secret in Star Wars going around right now, but Bo-Katan says there's a Jedi named Ahsoka Tano who can help you, and it seems like we're going to be getting her very shortly. So Taylor, I'll throw to you. Obviously, we've pretty much known this was like, it's not a big surprise, but obviously this is confirmed that she's coming. How excited were you?
I was pretty dang excited. Like, again, like it was something that we knew, Rosario Dawson, just kind of on like the rumors and the possible possibilities of it happening. And
is this originally a leak, the Ahsoka thing? Sorry to cut you off.
Rosario Dawson was playing Ahsoka. It was like a leak from.
Oh, okay. So they didn't want to get it out, but everyone knew.
No, her and Katie Sackhoff reprising her role as Bo-Katan in live action. That was another leak. There's a couple other things, but again, these are things that definitely would have been super awesome to be like a surprise. Like if we had no idea about the Ahsoka Tano thing, and then you're watching this episode and they just name drop like, Ahsoka Tano, it'd be like, holy shit, like for real, like, and that would just build the excitement for next week.
That's definitely a big name too. Like even me, I don't watch Clone Wars, but I know who that character is and the significance of her. So it definitely would have been a big. I mean, I wasn't too aware of the leaks. I feel like you guys might have mentioned that it was a rumor / leak, and when I saw it on the screen I was like, oh, okay, it's like actually happening. So
well, she's come a long way as a character. Like, I mean, it was super cool. Again, like people can say what they want about Rise of Skywalker, but again, just to have her and Rise of Skywalker was super cool as that brief bit of like dialogue or audio there. So And then again, them
And
even Hayden Christensen's, yeah, them even saying like, oh, she's like Ahsoka isn't necessarily. They didn't confirm that she's dead when they were
She's
like
gonna
beating
be
her.
dead.
Well, no, like in Rise of Skywalker, they were beating around the bush about
She's
that.
gonna be
But
dead.
I am super
gonna
excited to
kill her.
see how this is gonna play out with
Kylo Ren's
if
gonna
she
fucking
gets.
kill her and Baby Yoda.
Yeah, you wish. I'm super stoked to
Gonna
see
happen.
how this is going to go down. And I can't think of any better mentor than Ahsoka to be training Baby Yoda.
So that's my hang up. So I'm the same as Taylor. It's like I got excited. You can go back. Me and Taylor broke this down like months ago. I think on a Clone Wars episode, we brought out like we did a separate cutout for it. But that's when I got excited. So I was excited to see it confirmed, but it was pretty much like we knew this was coming. So my whole thing is now that we know, one, I unfortunately do agree with Taylor because right away he hit me with, oh, I bet the episode won't be next week. It'll be the week after. And that's what I hate is like, man, I just want them to keep going with those momentum. For me personally, I already feel season 2 is better than season 1. So for me, the first episode, okay, fun adventure. The second was, oh, this is something weird and different. And this was like, oh, we're getting some story, character. So I just feel like they're like, go, and they're going. I just feel like if we get the ship's not working, oh no, we gotta land on Tatooine again, and fucking Boba Fett's still there on his cliff, like looking for them. But like that, I don't want another filler episode, but I think Taylor's right. We probably will get one of those. But either way, when it does happen, I'm very excited for it. I feel like there has to be a way that she and Baby Yoda do not stay together. And this is the thing. Another thing that's been rumored is a Clone Wars / Rebel sequel series, but live action, possibly starring Ahsoka, possibly starring Bo-Katan, and maybe some others, trying to find Ezra, things like that. I think she's going to meet Baby Yoda, maybe give him some advice, maybe try and direct him somewhere else. But I think she's going to say that she's going on a mission, or she's going to do something where she can't take on an apprentice right now, or a Padawan or something like that. Even though you would feel it's kind of, I guess the other thing is like technically like Bo-Katan said, I know where a Jedi is, but at this point she's not she left the Jedi Order, so she could be a Jedi, but she's not Jedi in the sense of council and don't fuck anybody and that sort of deal, right? Like she's like
she put all that aside. Like she left the Jedi because of their crazy whatever shit's going on, and because they turned on her essentially. And to me, Ahsoka has become such a perfect embodiment and representation of what a Jedi can be and is, like with what she is capable of and what you see her journey how her journey unfolds in Rebels, especially. She's just become such a like you after Order 66, and you look at after the Jedi Purge, and you look at decades later, Ahsoka and Luke, how they are as Jedi. Luke is definitely like a powerful Jedi and what he goes through in his own right, especially through his tribulations and such. And yes, he is a Jedi Master by all means, but he's definitely a different type of Jedi Master on the spectrum. Whereas, again, when you look at Ahsoka, between the two Jedi Masters, Ahsoka isn't one because of her decisions, but I look at her as that and look at her as such as a Jedi Master because of how the path that she took and chose. And I'm not going to throw that term gray Jedi out because, again, it's not a canon term in Disney canon.
Gotta be canon.
But she is
canon.
Definitely, she is a powerful and pure light force wielding user, and I think she embodies what the Jedi should be and should aspire to be. And in terms of looking at like who a mentor could be between Luke and Ahsoka, I would definitely want, after this trilogy, I want Baby Yoda to go with Ahsoka, especially because we don't know we've got like 30 years of Ahsoka that's uncovered, so there's storyline there that they can tap into.
So I agree with you. I think you could get that later on. I guess my crux of I agree that I would want her to go, Baby Yoda to go with Ahsoka. There's more potential. There's more things you can do. My thing is, I don't think they're going to take Baby Yoda away from Mandalorian in the show, right? That's why I'm saying they have to find a way as of right now to cut that off. I would feel like if you take Baby Yoda away from Mandalorian, it would not kill the show. I'm not going to say that, but like a lot of people's interest would go away because there's tons of people that just like, I'm here for Baby Yoda. I love Baby Yoda. So I feel like they got to find some way right now to delay that at least. I think they could still meet, but I agree with you with Luke because if he goes to Luke, we know his ending there. Kylo Ren fucking cuts him down. Like we joke about that, but literally if he is at that camp with everybody else, no one survived but Luke. So like if I want imagine if that's the finale of this episode. Oh, it's Luke Skywalker. Whoosh, and then here comes young
That's the
Ben
episode
Solo.
Ryan Johnson directed.
Oh no. Oh, people will lose it. But yeah, so that's what I was gonna say is that's why I feel that he can't go with her yet. Kirkland, where are you on all this?
I feel like it's possible that, like, let's say Baby Yoda does go with Ahsoka, and then maybe they're doing some training montage, Rocky type style video, and like you have Mando kind of on his own adventure, and then it kind of cuts to like a training segment with Ahsoka and Baby Yoda. Maybe Baby Yoda's like carrying Ahsoka on his back, like Luke did with Yoda.
Kirkland, I just have to say, like, you're just half a head in the corner of the screen. Like,
he's gone more to the side as the cast has gone on to, like, he's like the moon.
That's how we know we're at the end of the cast as well.
Yeah.
But
yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, I do agree with what you said, Travis, how Baby Yoda is a big pull for the show. And if you do have him kind of, I don't know, disappear for, let's say, a full season, let's just be crazy and say that, I feel like a lot of people would kind of start giving it a thumbs down in that sense. So I think they have to be careful of what they
go to the YouTube page. Thumbs down at all. Yeah. Like, is there a possibility? We've heard the rumors of Ahsoka going off on her. I don't think it is, because I feel like this show's about the Mandalorian. Because what is the show about once he drops? Let's say he drops Mandalorian off Ahsoka. That's the finale, right? He gets there. They take Baby Yoda, and they, like Kirkland said, maybe a year from later we get like adolescent, teen Yoda, and he's like a teen Groot and everything. But like,
and everything.
So yeah, so what? Eating frogs, just you can't do that. So once he's gone, what is the show about? I guess that's where I think you could. The only thing is transition to is him maybe really joining with that Mandalorian crew and trying to take back Mandalore. I feel so you lose the cute factor, you 100% do, but I feel like that's the only route. So maybe that's why this episode they're putting those breadcrumbs there potentially.
I think that, it'll come down to the fact where Baby Yoda does make an exit at some point on this show. I think that, again, these are chapters. There is an end in sight for this. I think season 3 could potentially be like the last season. I don't.
No, you're fucking nuts.
I can't 100% see them doing like a full 6-7 seasons of this, because I feel like they're doing the chapter route. So I feel like this is written as a general story with the beginning, middle, and they have their end.
Titanic has like 57 chapters on the DVD menu. We're all good to go.
I feel like they're pointing this down a direction where they're going to conclude like the Mandalorian story, because you can in a TV show, again, like you said, you can write whatever you want, but at the same time, like you look at Star Wars, characters have their stories written for, you look at the main Star Wars saga.
They have them written out? Yeah, do they? Yeah.
Well, you have the main You have the main Star Wars saga. Well, we might get another trilogy with Rey. Who knows in like 10 years. But you have like these story arcs for these characters. You have Obi-Wan starting in Phantom Menace and ending in, I guess, Rise of Skywalker to some degree. But there's a trajectory. There's a trajectory for these characters. And
I agree with that, but next year is not the ending. I'm pretty sure you could search up. I'm pretty sure Giancarlo Esposito has said that it's going long. Like I think he's already talked about season 4. So it's like, I think this is at least getting to 6, at least.
They keep him around so like season 4. Jesus, I hope we get more diverse villains than just and not because of like
Taylor hates this guy.
Diverse and like
Where's all my white actors? Why can't I have any white villains in my stars?
Definitely not like that. When I say diverse, I mean I want non-Imperial villains. I don't want some one-eyed Cyclops sitting around like a wrestling ring in Star Wars. I don't want more Imperial villains. I want to see more like dark side users come into town here to tank.
Did you see I want to
see
dark side's extinct right now. That's not what this show's about.
Dark side's not extinct right now.
You saw what Yoda did to Cara Dune.
But okay, it's extinct in the sense that no one pops up until Snoke and Ben Solo on that night, right?
Palpatine's popped up. He's just chilling in Exegol right now.
Popped up because I thought he was dead. No,
and Snoke is probably...
That's not popping up. He's hiding in a fucking thunder planet. Okay, so like, here's the thing. The evil Sith are dormant right now. I'll say that. So, and I don't think this is the show for that. I don't think Mandalore, like Din, is getting his dark saber and he's like, I'm taking him down one. But like, I think you could get an endpoint, different villains. But I do not see this. I see this at least, like I said, going 6. I guess I could lower it down to 5, but I feel like
you with look just at, the one Imperial Moff as the main
No, I
villain.
just mean Mandalorian the character.
Mm.
Like you look at Obi-Wan, they've said that's going to be a mini series, so that's like it's going to be one season and done. Cassian's going to be one season done because he dies in that fucking overrated movie with Rogue One. So we have 2 Star Wars shows right now that are one and done. Supposedly, wasn't there? We don't know these other rumors like Ahsoka show, Bo-Katan show. These are all rumors right now. So it's like Mandalorian to me is the one show. It's like we can keep going, and as much as I might sound like I give it flack, like the idea of just adventures with a bounty hunter, I think they have a lot more of those they could do.
Yeah.
Kirkland, where are you? You think like Kirkland it's gonna be, or you think like Taylor it's gonna be like we're rounding out on season 3 and that we're getting close to an end?
No, I don't think so. I think especially the way the show's gone so far, like it feels like they're not doing anything too out there. Like they're not bringing in these dark side users. They're keeping it very like basic. Like you have a plot progression episode and then a filler episode, and it's just Mando and his buddy sidekick Baby Yoda, and like kind of just going out on a basic adventure. It's not like when the episode's over, it's not like you're sweating at the edge of your seat. Like you kind of have like a resolution after every episode. Like it just seems like a very basic, easy show that Disney can just keep pumping out there, and people are just going to keep loving it for the characters that they have in it and the content that wise. So I feel like they could just be milking that cash cow for.
Isn't that something that
6-7
people
episodes.
probably could have already said
Seasons.
about Dexter though? Like, oh, they got the characters there and everything. Like, it's just TV shows have that trend, and if they beat it too much, who's to say like it won't cross that bridge? Like,
It might happen.
Again, like I would hate to see that happen, but sometimes, and I feel like as much as I would hate to see a good show end, it could, beat it to the punch. Maybe that's the cure for all these TV shows that have bad endings. Just end it before it gets too long.
But there's 2 sides of that. One, I think Kirkland's right. If they don't care about that, they just want to make money. That's where it's like we're pumping this show out as much as until people keep watching it. So there's that where I go, okay. But there's also shows like Breaking Bad, which is 6 or 7 seasons, which people hail as one of the greatest shows of all time. Great finale. So it can happen. And one thing I will give them credit is I do think, unlike the main trilogy, if they are already talking about a season 3, season 4, to me, that feels like they have somewhat of a plan. They have a destination of, they probably do have an ending in sight. They probably have something in the back of their mind, like, okay, we want to get this character here. Maybe the character doesn't die. Maybe it is, like I said, maybe the final shot of this show is him on Mandalore with that Darksaber, and he's the leader now. Cut to black. What happens next? Who knows? A movie, TV show, whatever. But I think that they are planning it out more. I think that's the key. And that's why someone with Dexter, you lost showrunners in the middle, stuff like that. Is it dangerous the longer you go? Yeah, but I think we're only in season 2 right now, talking about like should they end it. I don't think they're anywhere.
End it now.
We haven't even,
we got Bo-Katan. We got all our answers.
Like we haven't even got to Baby Yoda's resolution. We haven't really got to because I feel like I said, with him with Mandalore, just meeting these new Mandalorians opens up a whole new door of storylines. Brief is still out there, so he's gonna have some storyline with him and whatever stuff they have up their sleeve. We don't know what else they could be cooking.
Yeah,
Boba Fett.
I also feel like having the show as the Mandalorian. By the time the show's over, I should know a lot about Mandalorians, and I still don't know anything about Mandalorians.
And him.
So, yeah, no, actually. So even if they do, bench Baby Yoda for maybe a season, like just have Mandalorian stuff going on, like have him finding out more about, I don't know, like the Death Squad that saved him, or even just his other, I don't know, his other friends. What are they called in their little cult below? The Coven. That's what it is, isn't it?
The Concord.
The Coven. They're vampires. But so yeah, like there's still so many unanswered questions, at least that I would want to have resolved. So I feel like they could definitely, like, they just have so much more questions that they have to answer, in my opinion, before they start winding down the show. At least I hope.
Anything else? We've covered a lot. We covered this episode. We covered future stuff.
There was one scene I had to mention it. It was when they're on the ship, and I laughed so hard because it was the Blue Man Group, the two Mandalorians, and then the stand-in guy.
Yeah. 2 Mandos and their friend.
Yeah, and Din. and he's like, all right, cover me. I'm gonna take these guys out. And he just runs down the hall, and they literally don't do anything. They just like watch him, and he just gets
Cover me.
like, pelted. As if he's getting like
Cover
pelted by paintballs or something. And then he just like falls down the hall and like throws like a thermal detonator like at the stormtroopers. I laughed so hard at that. Just the timing of him being. "All right,
They do cover
me."
him,
He
though.
just runs around. Well,
Did they? Just I
You
felt
can
very,
see
I
the
was very
yellow. You
poorly.
can see the yellow blaster bolts fire behind Din, and then
All
you can
I-
see them hitting the door frame around him.
They're
when
hitting
he's running.
Din accidentally. Oh, he's getting shot from the back. Friendly fire.
all I saw was red bolts just pelting him. And I was
Oh yeah, he just got
so hard.
spaghetti and he threw those grenades. One last ditch effort. But those stormtroopers, they had their accuracy unlocked this time.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good. However, when they threw, I don't know if it was a thermal detonator or like a flashbang grenade or something, but they threw something down the hall, and like the group of stormtroopers just kept like walking towards it as if they didn't see it. Classic stormtroopers things. Anyways, it was great. Good episode.
I want to shout out a couple scenes actually. The when he was on the barge, the floating ship or whatever, and Bo-Katan takes her helmet off and stuff, and just he's come so far to find more Mandalorians, and he's just like, "Where'd you get that armor?" And they're like, "It's been in my family for 3 generations." Then he just jetpacks away, like he's done with these people.
That
It's just
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that trekking just for that, and he just leaves. But again, the scene where they were on the main Imperial ship, and that Imperial officer, I really liked just his what's the proper
Demeanor.
term for that? Demeanor. Yeah. He was just such a shitty officer, and he's like telling his stormtroopers like, close all the doors, close them all. And he's like hiding. And then he's like, we got him.
He's like, which one? Oh.
Yeah, like which
All of
one? The officer's just reporting to his higher up. He's like, yeah, we trapped him in the cargo control room. And he's like, where'd you trap him? In that good. And the door opens. That was so funny when he just gets sucked out, and that whole moment was just awesome. And the other thing I wanted to shout out to was, why can't I remember it?
I'll go quick while you think.
Mhm.
Oh no, you thinking?
No!
Oh no.
So back to the eggs.
Back to the eggs.
Well, it's up to you guys. I got nothing. So you guys are the ones that are leading the ship here. Taylor's looking like there's
Yeah, what were you
somebody
gonna
this whole
say?
time that's been giving him notes off screen for the podcast.
Yeah,
Like,
Madison's
this,
holding
little
my
Billy.
whiteboard there.
He's got an earpiece in.
yeah.
That's no whiteboard.
Oh, okay. We got to end. Yeah, that looks fucking gross, actually. I don't know what you're.
Hey, my fiance made this dinner for me.
What did she make? A bread,
made
some
a
butter, and
grill-
a piece of
grill-
sliced
it's-
ham?
It's a grilled cheese sandwich with turkey breast in there.
Yeah. Well, you know what else happened on the charity stream? We beat you guys too. Retain my title. Beat Jessica. Beat you guys. Beat SES. Oh my
What do you
God,
mean you
that's
beat
cool.
me? Oh, at the
charades
thingy.
and in whatever.
Okay, first of all, those
video
charades
game.
were like highly like fraudulent.
We still
The
won.
level of degree in those charades were absolutely out the window.
It's not my fault Madison can't act out Batman. And you can't act out Toy Story. Here's my Woody.
Okay, you knew what that was. You knew.
No, I knew what this was.
Yeah, so when you say I can't act out Toy Story, I acted out Toy Story because you
Fine,
knew what that
can't
was.
act out Woody. My goodness. Okay, what did you guys think of your scenes?
No. What about you, Taylor?
The fighting
No.
choreography was just absolutely awesome.
Shit.
Like again,
That's not
I
what
love
you're gonna
the-
shout out. You're trying to stall time. That's not what you're gonna shout out. That's such
I
a lie.
love wrist blades, and Bo-Katan whips
Oh,
that wrist
no.
blade out. It was so good. Like, just go to town. And I love when they raided that ship. But something I do want to point out is the general just vibes like face huggers in this episode. Like the squids and stuff definitely like had me alarmed, especially at that end scene too. It just that squid crawling up to Baby Yoda just kind of really freaked me out. And I'm so glad that again Mando caught it, because it's like this thing's gonna ingestate something inside Baby Yoda. Yeah, inject something. But
Next episode's just an LSD Yoda trip. Ooh.
yeah, and again, the Bryce Dallas Howard did such a great job with this
Mhm.
episode directing. Like, and again, I love the humorous tones when Mando is coming in super hot in the ship. It was like the score was good, and this is just like this is epic and intense, and he's landing, coming in, and then just when he's like, okay, there we go, easy does it, we got it, and And Mon Calamarian's just standing there with his arms on his hands on his hips, watching, and the engine blows and he falls to the side. And I love when the Mon Calamarian just shakes his head like, "Oh, what a fucking loser," just thinks he's got this. But he's so lucky that the water was not deep there, because seeing those like giant crane walking things, that aesthetic was so cool to see, and the sound effects too of it was just so awesome.
Yeah, look great.
Again, Bryce Dallas Howard.
And again,
with those
Kirkland is
pecs.
even more. He's doing that on purpose.
Yeah,
because
now
we're
he
in the
is.
cast. Now he'll just be his chair soon. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you did enjoy this episode. This was our longest one. Yeah, there was tons of breakdowns, some good conversation there. Taylor's doing something on this fucking sandwich. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, look out in the future. Should have popped this up at the beginning, so my bad. But we'll be reviewing a bunch of console stuff next week. Hopefully the consoles. Hopefully my fucking PlayStation will get here tomorrow. I was supposed to be here tonight because of the fucking snow, though. Fucking weather. It's just, but got the Xbox Series X, so I'm not sure if I'll be on that review, but maybe. I don't even know if Jessica's done, but there'll be a combination of Taylor and somebody on that review. I'm going to review the PS5, hopefully with a guest, and then Miles Morales review. Taylor, you are reviewing Assassin's Creed?
I will be. I'm gonna try to this weekend. I played for like 2 hours.
Ooh,
And then-
2 hours.
And then after the 2 hour mark, it dropped the Assassin's Creed Valhalla title. I was like, holy fuck, I just did the intro.
Jesus. Okay. So look out to that review in 2021. And then, every week, Mandalorian. I might be doing some movie reviews coming up here. Me and Greg are working on a Batman You Completely. So lots of fun stuff. Like I said, if you want to support us, please head over to Patreon. You guys got anything to say before we get out of here?
Nope. This is
You-
the way.
This is the way. You guys are amazing. Keep tuning
Thanks,
in.
Taylor.
All right.
I
Thank
was
you.
talking to the fans.
May the force be with you, fans.
I heard you. I'm a fan.